Anyway, we're there. So what's up, everybody? Let's take a look-see. He says,
I am starting to think that this guy could be the
Oopsies.
guy. I'm not there yet, but after today's speech and him taking all those questions, I'm feeling good.
Just a few things at the outset, just about what I've learned today and what I'm trying to do here. You know, first of all, I want to give a shout out.
Gotta catch them all.
To the Annunciation school shooting families, because the last time
New school shooting.
meet with some of those families, I understand
Haven't seen this.
a couple of the students have made near miraculous recoveries, and
I'll save this for later. We'll save that for later anyway. Close that. Close that. You know, actually I do need to check something. This right here. Hey, Atia, how are you? What was I checking? I don't need to check this. I'm tripping. It's over here. Hey, how are you? Let's get around to it. I'm gonna go check the news and then we'll see what everything else is about. Hope you're all doing well. Need to change this to this. And then we'll get around to it. Ding. You know, I never considered that you guys might hear that, and it might be really loud. That's Queens News, New York Post. That doesn't seem good. That seems good. I'm doing well, I'm just taking a look-see at what's going on today in the news. Doesn't seem to bode well. This is not clear. I might not be talking into the microphone, to be honest. You could probably hear me better if I actually just speak normally. It's kind of just thinking to myself about what type of bad things to look at in the news nowadays. Very strange. That's not good news. It's mostly not good news. Yeah. I figured as much. We're gonna do it like this. New window. Here we go. That way I can actually see what's going on. Españols. Años lad. We can just, damn, what am I doing here? I'm forgetting how to use a computer, briefly. Come on now. A fire incident happened in the Mall of Karachi. That doesn't sound good. That sounds bad. That does not sound good. Why can't I do it like that? Damn it. I wonder if I can check that out on the web. We'll see about it. Fire incident, Karachi. Whoa. Yo. What the hell? That seems terrible. Is everyone okay that you know?
Breaking news now coming in. This is the death toll in the devastating fire at a shopping plaza in Pakistan's financial capital Karachi, which has increased to 61 on Wednesday itself, after 30 bodies were found in a single shop on the mezzanine floor of the building, as per official reports have come in. The fire broke out, remember, in the basement of the Gul shopping plaza, which is the central market area.
Wow.
In Karachi. It's a wholesale and retail market, and it quickly spread to the rest of the building in the Sadr area on the night of January 17th. Because remember, there are a lot of fabric shops in this very region, which indeed helped fuel the fire further. Now, the fire was brought under control only after nearly 36 hours. Karachi South Deputy Inspector General Asad Raza has
That's
said
bad.
that eight
That's like
affected
that
bodies were
that
recovered from one
Hong Kong
shop
fire
over the light
recently
property
too.
located on the mezzanine floor, raising the death toll now to 61.
Wow.
So this is
That's crazy. A chemical fire? So that's, what does that mean? What does that mean, a chemical fire? Does that mean that like they just mix some chemicals or what? That's crazy though. I didn't know anything about that. That's bad. That's no good. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everyone you know is okay. That's terrible. Wow. And more missing. What? That's wild right there. Man. You gotta be careful, I guess, with these chemicals. This was, when was this one? This one was like, yeah. New York Post is even talking about it. I didn't see this. They were talking about this 3 days ago. That's insane. That's like the Hong Kong fire. Whatever. See? That's like this one. A lot of that's been happening lately. That's terrible. A lot of death in the news. Yo, what's up, Slimer? How's it hanging, brother? We're talking about how there's been a lot of crazy fires lately. Stuff like this going on. That was in Hong Kong. And then there was the one in Karachi. That's
17 जनवरी 2026 हफ्ते की शाम होने की वजह से आज रश मामूल से थोड़ा ज्यादा था.
well, I can't understand that language, but fires there like car accidents. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you gotta have regulations. That's part of why America is so great in a lot of ways. Is there's regulations. You know what I mean? There's stuff. Yeah, there's stuff that prevents this stuff from happening. Not to mention like fire safety systems and a regularly maintained fire department. Like there's stuff in place to prevent this stuff from happening. But there's really nothing in place to prevent car accidents from happening here, since everybody can drive a car pretty much. The pros and cons of freedom, I suppose. 3 or 4 big ones every year. I'd believe that. I would believe that, to be honest. And there's so many people in China that it's probably just like a fucking drop in the wind to them. It's a drop in the bucket, They don't care. They probably don't even care that much. They're just like, oh, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Our news is gonna be terrible. There's nothing good on our news. Motel owners arrested after prostitution drug. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is this was on the New York Post. I didn't know about this. Forced to deploy tear gas. Tear gas? I don't remember tear gas being green. I think these are just smoke canisters. I think these are just... I thought tear gas was like an invisible gas.
have it. I have it. Stand back up. The
Yeah,
green stuff.
I think these are just pussies. The green stuff. This isn't fucking Fortnite, bro. Is CS gas green? I think this is what they use. Is this what they're talking about? Hexachlorothane? Gas grenades. I mean, I kind of agree with it, to be honest, though. Like, why wouldn't you want to stop these people from doing that stuff? Yeah, the riots in Iran, they shot like 2,000 people, didn't they? How many people was that?
Overseas now, and there are reports today that the death toll from Iran's violent demonstrations is far higher than originally thought. And as the country's internet blackout stretches into its 10th day, the Supreme Leader is blaming Donald Trump for the protests. Our Europe correspondent Jacqueline Robson reports.
It's impossible to know exactly how many people have been killed due to the limited information that's coming out of Iran. The internet blackout now going on 10
Australian
days.
news.
An Iranian
I wouldn't
official
trust their
has
shit
put the
either.
figure at least 5,000 demonstrators killed. That's another 500 security officials. But the Sunday Times says it's obtained a report that's compiled figures from 24 hospitals, which has the dead at more than 16,500 people. Now, that's impossible for us to verify, but it is said to have come from doctors on the ground, and it's coming after...
It's impossible for you to verify. I guess because there's an internet blackout there right now.
Iran's Supreme Leader acknowledged for the first time yesterday that thousands had been killed in the violence. He's blamed the protesters for the killings. He's even pointed the finger at the US president for inciting the demonstrations. Thousands of people are continuing right around the world to protest the regime. A huge demonstration took place in central London today, calling for world leaders to do more.
Have you been able to speak to your family?
Not at all. Unfortunately, after cutting down the internet, I couldn't contact to my family at all, and it's long time. I don't know if
Where is this at?
Or not.
I just want to tell people gunning down means in Iran with the government occupying our country means using weapons of war on their own people.
It's the most brutal crackdown by the regime in its 47-year existence. Any hope the US president would intervene is fading.
I mean, why should we intervene? I mean, that's just our money going to these people that, I mean, you know, you guys know I've probably voiced this before, that I have my reserves about sending American tax dollars to foreign countries in general, especially for stuff like this. You know, just let it play out. Yeah, it's considered fictional entertainment. Yeah, it pretty much is. Like, I would believe the toll's somewhere closer to like 5,500, like the initial reports, but that's Australian news, you know, so naturally it's going to be very skewed. There's no such thing as good Australian news. Because if you didn't know, Australia is basically an authoritarian state. You can get arrested for making Facebook posts there. No guns. You're not allowed to have guns. And those people are wild out there. Not all of it's bad, of course, but you know, the government is bad. They're especially terrible. But yeah, the news is basically just reality TV for us now. Vile, anti-Semitic, See, this is the type of shit I'm talking about, bro.
Human who makes mistakes. I would never agree with an anti-Semitic thing like the comment. We have Jewish family. A lot of my friends are Jewish. I delete anti-Semitic comments. I have proof because yesterday somebody messaged me. There was a comment that said that. So I said, yes, I saw that and I deleted it because that's what I thought
Wow.
happened.
This is what
And
you
then
have
I
to
said, I
say.
hate anti-Semitism.
Free America
And
from the
so,
Jews.
the
Just saying
internet, I
free
guess-
America from the Jews is considered anti-Semitic. Isn't that... This lady, you know, this is obviously Miss Rachel. If you've got kids, you'll know that this is like a popular kid. I don't let my kids watch it, but this is a popular kids type of influencer, I guess you could say. She makes a kid show, basically. And, yeah, the fact that, you know, she's liked a comment that says free America from the Jews, that's considered anti-Semitic. That kind of makes me think that America is under control of the Jews, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's the craziest thing. Right, yeah, I mean, our news says whatever they want. Now, there's like, of course, without some form of like free press and journalism, like you lose credibility and then people just stop watching you. So you gotta have some hint of truth in what you're saying. And just as far as that, it's read Paul Harvey's quote. You're talking about the people you can't criticize. That quote. This is crazy. And there's all these people. Yeah. Someone sensible. Yeah, it's really not even that big a deal. It just kind of makes me think that America is in control of the Jews. If I were the devil. Oh yeah. I've read that thing before. We can go look it up. Yeah, 1965. Do. Wow, they're just gonna... Here we go. Fire with the devil, blah blah blah. Prince of Darkness. Third of its real estate, 4/5 of its population. Sees the ripest apple on the tree. So, I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. Birth of churches, campaign of whispers, wisdom of a serpent. Bible is a myth. Bible ain't a myth, bro. Ancient history. Ancient mystery. Oh yeah, well of course. No doubt that's what's happening to our generation. I'm just saying. Well, let's read it all the way through just to see the important things. The Bible is a myth. You'd want to convince the world the Bible is a myth, naturally, because the good word teaches you to be good to each other. What's bad is good. What's good is square. Our Father which art in Washington. Pledge allegiance to the state. That's why they make you do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag. That's pretty much a thing. One nation under God. That's supposed to be what it is, though. We don't do that anymore. They don't say that in schools. I think it's a big problem. I think they should bring back the Pledge of Allegiance. substitutes psychology for religion and deifies science. Lord priests into misusing boys and girls and church money. The symbol of Christmas, a bottle. That's devilish. This is probably the most important here. This is definitely what they're doing now. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have, give to those who want, until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. That's deep. Paul Harvey was a smart man. I should just comment and say, who cares? Alright, back to news. We'll see what other stupid shit is in the news today. That's sounding like very much like a Mason. The Antichrist, related to the Antichrist, you say? The protest in Iran is related to the Antichrist. Probably, it's all related in some capacity to the Antichrist. Our world is run by Zionists, so they literally want these things to happen. They want the biblical apocalypse to play out. That's not a joke. I don't say that lightly. I mean, like, the people that run the world, like, expect the biblical apocalypse to happen. They count on it, you know, they're counting on it to happen. They want it to happen. The Battle of Megiddo. And I agree with what you're saying about it should be added to. There should be more to it than just, you know, a pledge of allegiance, whatever. Because, I mean, how do you enforce that? Like, that's taking an oath for God and country, you know what I mean? That's essentially what it is. Like, freedom of religion, sure, but this is a Christian nation. So let's look this up. Jews of Isfahan. Persian Shawl. What does that mean? And what is this? Is this the Antichrist? What does this word mean? What does that mean? Ultimately to be defeated by Jesus. Is this what it says in the Quran? Is this the Quran? No, this is the Hadith. Very interesting stuff. I can hear my son crying. So what does that mean? The Hadith, yeah. That's what I thought. It says it right up here. This is crazy. So what does that mean though exactly? 70,000 Jews of Isfahan. What is this? What does this word mean? Okay. It is the capital of that province. I see where this is going. Jews in Isfahan wearing Persian shawls. Let's look this up. That's what it says in the Hadith, right? Are we seeing this today? When was this? This was in 2023, so I don't know what you're... I don't know, we'll know. There's supposed to be a big trumpet. White shawl with 2 black lines. Not the green one. Yeah. The Bible, it says there's supposed to be a trumpet. All the world will hear it. I wonder what they mean, but, you know, it could be a literal trumpet. Who knows? My son's awake. I hear him. I hear him. Spied on the speaker. Informed no one. That sounds like espionage. Illegal espionage. Multiple arrests made. Federal agents. I gotta go get my son. Hold on. Hey, buddy. Just waking up. Alright. Ooh. Let's get it past him. Nothing gets past him. He's quick. Anyway, so this is wild, though. So, you're saying that these protests have to do with Jews in the... Or this prophecy in the Hadith, rather. That's crazy. I don't know. It could be, man. You know, we could be living in the end times. No man shall know the time or the place. A fair number of authoritarian regimes. Board of peace. Oh, come on now. Don't be gripping on that stuff, buddy. Just hang out. Chill. I almost don't want to show my kid all these news things. Because the news is always bad, you know? Come on, let it go, buddy. You got them grippers. I know it. I know it. You're upset. Check it, bud. Pop a squat. We'll check it out. Oh, fuck. Don't tell me we've already heard the first trumpet. I think I remember hearing this. See if we can.
Guys, what is going on?
Strange sounds are being heard around the world. In Sweden, this sure sounds like a trumpet. In Michigan, another trumpet-like sound. In British Columbia, Canada, Dr. Glenn McPherson says he heard a strange humming sound in his home.
Oops.
First, he thought it was an appliance.
Ultimately, I cut the power to the entire house, and the sound got louder.
Then he discovered he was not alone.
This is in fact a worldwide phenomenon, and I'm calling it the worldwide hum.
Check out his Hum Map Data project.
The worldwide hum? Oh, shit.
Millions of scientists from around the world.
So the first trumpet blew in 2010 already. And what follows the first trumpet? I'm pretty sure it's bad stuff. Hail and fire mixed with blood are thrown to earth, resulting in the burning up of a third of the trees and all green grass. This event is part of the apocalyptic judgments described in the book of Revelation. Yeah, right. So, you know, hellfire, fury. Hail, fire, blood. Oh man, we might be in those times, baby. You know, the hottest were talking about the same shit. There was just they got a different message, you know. In the hottest, it was the same stuff, just a different message. So, who's to say that they are definitely supposedly talking about the God of Abraham? You know, he may have gave them a different message on purpose. Oh man, still unexplained to this day. But look, all of this is true. Hail, you know, crazy snow. That happened this year. But if this happened in 2010, you know, like, but you know, who knows how long it works for God? You know, he could hold off for a few years. I mean, that could be like a blink to him. Yeah. Global trumpet sound. Oops. I hear you, buddy. Jeez. That's the button on the computer. Yeah, they're all gonna be skeptical. And a great whirlwind. No, that shit's on the news. I don't know, man. Yeah, disease, war, famine. They say we've been starving for forever, right? Hold on, let me get my buddy a little snack, okay? I'll be right back. Maybe something for daddy too, man. I don't need it. Oh, like that. Can you guys still hear me good this way? Maybe get it out of my face a little bit better. Whenever you're ready, buddy. There you go. That thing we saw was on the news. This was on Inside Edition. Okay. It's not looking good.
Who call themselves Hummers have reached out to him, saying they heard the same thing. McPherson thinks
This was 7 years ago. This was in 2019.
low frequency sound waves that sound like this.
So what's this about 2010?
Built this 3 foot by 6 foot steel box that blocks out low frequency sound waves. For some reason, even inside it, he says he still hears the strange hum.
Going into the box.
Strange sounds before an earthquake. It's a little more than strange. Very strange. That's very strange. Yeah, it's strange, brother. That's super strange. Very creepy. Okay. You're just saying you thought it was in 2010. I got you. Either way, that's fucking weird. I don't care how you spell it. Hearing strange noises in the sky is probably a bad thing. When I look up at the sky, I'm not supposed to be hearing anything. You know what I mean? Maybe some birds or some crickets or something, but the sky's not supposed to be talking to me. And I don't care what context it is. That's bad. You know what I mean? That's kind of what that video sounded like to me. It sounded like something was talking, you know? Some indecipherable language.
Can you hear that noise? What's that? Smell. What? It's coming from the sky. You sure that? Sounds like a trumpet gun.
Someone have to independently confirm this. Though, you know, that could just be a sound layover. You never know. Some bad trumpet playing. Did you hear it? Scientists thought it was the Earth's core slowing down or reversing. That would be bad. I can almost guarantee that would be bad. So let's look up. So when was this? 10 years ago. Skyquakes. Okay, I should compile a list of all these and then compare which ones are on what day. Yeah. You talking about CERN? Fucking, it could have been CERN, dude. If this happened in like January of 2010, 2012 or something, you know what I mean? We just turned on that Large Hadron Collider in, what was it, December 12th, 2012? Or was it December 21st, 2012? Anyway, like, and that lined up with the Mayan calendar of the apocalypse. If you didn't know. Yeah, we turned on CERN. Mayan long count. End date. Yeah, December 21st, 2012, right? Check this out. Remember that date, December 21st. Oops. That's not what I heard. It says September 10th, 2008. But I heard they finished the actual one that they're using now at after this date. Like they combined the two of them or whatever. Because I thought they had combined two of the facilities and then turned it on again. Yeah, here we go. We discovered the Higgs boson in 2012. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But anyway, we turned that thing on in 2012 one time, and everybody thinks that we got sent to an alternate dimension by it. Which, I don't know. Maybe that explains the Mandela effect or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not one of those guys in the know. They did something with that thing. I don't think you're supposed to be messing with these things. How come it's always something smaller? They can't find zero. It's always something else. There's not, and they're gonna keep doing that. It's gonna keep doing that until the world gets sucked into a black hole. If it didn't already. There's lots of theories around this thing. Bro, what? Oh. So I'm just finding out about this thing. The LHC computer grid was constructed as part of the LHC design to handle the large amounts of data expected for its collisions. It is an international collaborative project that consists of a grid-based computer network infrastructure initially connecting 140 computer centers in 35 countries, now over 170 in more than 40 countries as of 2012. Wow. Yeah. Sketch. That's like all of NATO and then some. Russia. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that sentence right there. Can you guys see that? Let me scroll up a little bit. Look at that sentence right there. It says, had become the world's largest computing grid in 2012, comprising over 170 computing facilities and worldwide network across more than 40 countries. Like, very interesting, I think. Mesons and muons and gluon plasma. Yeah, I think something's messed up. I think they did something they weren't supposed to. The Lay's potato chip. The Lay's potato chip is an acceptable side item for a glizzy dog. I think so. Man, very strange though. These things are very strange. Yeah. We're definitely living in an alternate reality, bro. There's no convincing me otherwise. What's the weather telling me? Periods of light rain. Highs in the low 50s. Lows in the upper 20s. Yeah, we're supposed to get a huge snowstorm coming through here tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Whoops. What did I do? Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yeah, we're supposed to get a huge snowstorm coming through. Hail. Fire. You know, like I said, I say this all the time, California is on fire every year because God hates pedophiles. And weirdos. People who pretend to be men or... Whoa. I got a quadruple fold single chip Lay's. That had to have been an ultra rare Lay's. I should have sold that. I didn't even think about it. Mmm. I said prof. Oh my god, bro. I gotta quit. Could prove it, huh?
Okay, ready? Right here, on the border between France and Switzerland, is the biggest science experiment ever built. It's this huge tunnel, over 100 meters underground and 27 kilometers long, running under nearby homes and businesses and farms. And inside that tunnel, scientists put a long blue tube, big enough to crawl through. And inside that tube, they put two pipes that they keep colder and emptier than outer space. And down those pipes, they fire particles smaller than atoms, in opposite directions, pushing them faster and faster and faster until, when they're almost at the speed of light, they smash together,
thank you,
sending subatomic
Marcel.
debris flying off into this massive detector. This underground particle smasher took thousands of people from over 100 different countries, $5 billion, and over 30 years to plan and build. My question was, why? Why do this? Why spend so much money and time to smash particles into this underground tunnel? And now, why do so many people say that what we really need to do is build a bigger one?
Future circular collider, new particle.
Gotta go back.
Building a bigger.
That's why you'd want to build a bigger one. We're lost. We need to get back. The only answer is bigger. Bigger, better collider. Right? ASMR and furries, bro. I think we're all tired of ASMR and furries. So we feel you there, bro.
In Geneva, Switzerland, more than 3 times the size and twice as deep.
I'm going all the way to Switzerland, to the particle smasher stuff.
Nice.
To understand what's really going on here, and to go on a journey that will forever change how I see myself and the world around me.
Huge. This is Cleo Abram, by the way.
Part of this video is sponsored by Shopify.
Oh, we're not. Okay, okay.
I'm in an elevator on my way down to the giant particle smasher, more scientifically known as the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. It's inside the biggest and most famous physics lab in the world.
Why build this?
I can't believe I'm here. Getting to visit here is
I want to know why they would build this.
an enormous amount of energy for how small protons are. But in the grand scheme of things, each collision is still less than the total energy of a hand clap. But a very smart person figured out that energy and mass are related. So when these protons collide at incredibly fast speeds, releasing a ton of energy, that energy can turn into physical mass, which is crazy. And here's the kicker. If the energy is high enough, which we really want to know about, use that knowledge to improve the world or satisfy our own curiosity. Special
Monster.
particles, they only exist for an instant before they turn back into more everyday particles that we see all the time. That then
Are they even
fly out
funded for one?
sensors that record exactly where
Because
they hit.
aliens
So
told
what
us to?
scientists actually see is more like a crime
Demons,
scene.
according to
You
some
see
people.
where the particles hit the sensors,
Aliens
but then
aren't
they
real,
need to
they're just
work
demons.
backward using very complex physics to reverse engineer what happened at the moment of collision and what mystery particles could have been there. And if that sounds hard, yeah, you're right. But important.
We're not just doing this for fun, let's smash things together. We do like it. Well, we do it because we have huge, huge questions. The idea
I'm glad he likes it. Where do we come from? Why are we here? Do aliens exist? What kind of questions are that?
The elementary particles.
That's what they're studying in these collisions. Elementary particles, the building blocks of our universe. We know a lot
Well,
already.
I'm not questioning why they built it. I think I know why they built it. They built it to try to disprove God. But they can't. But here's the thing. I want to know why they say they want to build it.
Of how we as humans think the world around us works. It's called the Standard Model.
Apparently we already watched why. It's to smash things together. Because they like it. Because they like it. And they want to know what things are made out of. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't think that I don't think they should be playing with this type of stuff, to be perfectly honest. But I am a religious person, so you never know. I could just be a superstitious idiot. But you know, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I could be a superstitious idiot.
It's pure research to try to understand our universe.
One reason that they wanted to build the Large Hadron Collider specifically is that the Standard Model predicted that there should be another particle, a mystery particle, likely present near the beginning of our universe that no one had ever actually detected. They called it the Higgs boson, or more sensationally, the God particle. The Standard Model seemed to suggest that this God particle was of vital importance to universal existence because, and here's where my brain starts to break a little bit, it would confirm the existence of an underlying field that gives other particles mass.
I don't know.
In other words, this God particle would help us understand why everything you and I feel exists. Basically, why stuff exists was a big mystery, and this underlying field was our best mathematical explanation. And observing the Higgs
that certainly appears to be Shiva.
Would help to prove it. The only problem was that to do that, we needed to get enough energy in one place to create it.
Which is the god of destruction, right, in Hinduism?
Nearly the speed of light. And that is one big reason to build the Large Hadron Collider. So, they built it. And after they finished, thousands of scientists spent 2 more years collecting data at 2 different detectors until finally they were sure enough to announce to the world they did it.
Pick up your bottle, buddy.
They reliably created the Higgs boson, something that no one had ever detected before.
Reliably created it?
Universe that had before been a mystery. And that proof looked like this. Yep, it's a bump on a chart. Think about how much work went into seeing that bump on that chart. Like, that's it? Yeah, it's awesome. Through math, scientists predicted that if the Higgs boson exists, when we smash particles together, we should see a bump. And there it is.
There was literally a bump. There were more particles being produced at that energy.
The math was right. This confirmation didn't immediately change the world for people like you and me. But it showed us that as a species, we're on the right track. We're never going to know the impact of discovering any single building block of reality. When Sir Isaac Newton revealed the motion of our moon and our planets, he couldn't have possibly imagined there would be humans on the moon nearly 300 years later. The same is true of our discoveries today. That's the point of all of this. We discover the building blocks now so that our children can build with them later in ways that we can't possibly imagine.
I don't know what understanding the Higgs boson is really going to do to change the way that we live, but in 20, 30, 50 years, the better that we understand how these particles work, the more we can create technologies that change our lives.
And the Higgs boson is by no means the only thing the Large Hadron Collider has uncovered. It has shaped our understanding of the way that elementary particles interact and combine, and put our theories about the world...
This is what I was saying about they just keep finding more and more stuff. They look at outsiders as subhumans? You mean people outside of CERN?
And there's still so much that we don't know about.
Or what? What do you who looks at outsiders like that? What are you talking about?
Now what we need to do is build a much, much bigger one. That's the big debate happening right now.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Sounds sketchy too. Maybe they should just stop fucking with the universe and stuff. They don't need to be making particles.
It doesn't, send anything out that we can see with our eyes, but it affects gravitation and makes a big difference.
We know this dark matter is there because it impacts things that we can see.
Oh, yeah. Well, Switzerland's like the best country in the world, too, so naturally I feel like they'd probably feel like that. They're like, yeah, everybody who's not Swiss, weak. Switzerland's awesome. And Switzerland is awesome, so I can't blame them. I feel like I'd probably feel like that if I was Swiss, too.
And we need to start working on it now. It has a horrible name. It's called the FCC, the Future Circular Collider, which of course you have to change after you've built it.
CERN estimates that building this new collider would cost roughly $17 billion. And instead of a 27-kilometer loop, it would be 100. But not everyone
Leave him alone.
This is worth it. They argue that the Large Hadron Collider is falling short of what some hoped that it would achieve. On top of that, some predictions seem to suggest we'd need even more energy than this new, bigger collider would have in order to produce anything truly new. I think there's no need to overpromise. We don't really know. But that's not a reason not to try. The byproduct of all of the pure science done at CERN has already resulted in new therapies for cancer treatments, better medical
What do you mean, Planck?
more efficient electric cars, more sensitive radiation detectors that we now use in space, and my favorite, a new way for scientists to communicate, now called the World Wide. All of that and more came from work done at CERN. We don't know what we'll come up with next. Just imagine for a second what we could do if we had a better, deeper understanding of what gives things mass. The future always sounds like sci-fi until we build it. And listen, I am not at all qualified to figure out if this specific collider is what we should build. And there are other ideas out there, like a muon collider and a linear collider. There's a proposal for a very powerful collider built in China. But we won't know what's possible without spending on this kind of pure research.
And what's embarrassing is for Europe, they still spend twice as much on defense.
Pretty much.
The U.S. spends 10 times as much.
Pretty much.
On defense. You can argue we need to do that right now, and that can very well.
This is the breakdown of where our physics makes sense to us, I guess.
Maybe we should spend this money on other research that would apply more directly to improving
As it shouldn't go any farther down than that.
But is that a real choice?
That's a false choice.
And you're saying we're half of the way there.
Is essential to be able to do any of
That's what real me is saying.
It'd be like saying, okay,
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, they'll spend all this fucking money and research and energy on fucking trying to figure out, if God exists. Basically, that's what this is. That's essentially, in my opinion, what this is for. They think they're trying to. They think they can disprove God.
What we spend our time on shows who we are. If aliens come to Earth one day and they look at what we have built, I would want them to see enormous monuments.
And there they said it.
Dedicated.
They're obviously atheists. Now, atheists have their point, their play in the world and all that. Don't get me wrong, but I said if aliens come down. Or what did she say? Hold on, let's go back. If aliens come to Earth one day,
Shows who we are. If aliens
she speaks like she, yeah.
and they look at what we have built, I would
She
want
speaks like she knows aliens are real,
enormous monuments dedicated to
or that she thinks aliens are real.
to understand through what we have built that we are a species who seeks to learn and tries to be better and
Well,
aches to find where we belong.
isn't it though? Isn't that the core argument of it all?
We can barely understand. I would want them to see that yes, we are limited, and yes, we have conflict, and yes,
Can you stop
we
doing
can
that,
only
child,
glimpse such
please?
a tiny slice of the full scale of reality. But man, we try so hard, and that is something that we can all be very proud of because the effort that we put in.
That's essentially, in my opinion, what they're trying to do, is disprove the existence of God. They even mocked him by saying the God particle, calling the Higgs boson the God particle.
Scripts to write ever, but it was incredibly hard. This is just such a complex topic, and I am not a physicist. So the script was fact-checked by a physicist at CERN, but if you want to know more about the details of the physics here, I'll link to a couple of my favorite explainers by actual physicists on YouTube. And if
That's nice. Anyway, that was Cleo Abrams' take on it. But in my opinion, that's exactly what they're trying to do. I think that they're trying to disprove God. Because, you know, theists already had the answer. They were like, yeah, we were made by God. God created the universe. They're trying to break it down into a fundamental particle that was really at the heart of it all. This is why everything happened right here. And yeah, I feel like it's just never gonna happen. They're never gonna get there. Because the farther you go down, the smaller it gets, and you know, even at the end of it all, if all of these laws exist, you know, and we just discover them as humans, oh, it's probably not close enough to my face. And also going through a converter and then into my computer. So it probably sounds like an Xbox 360 back in like 2009. I get that. But I'm also at the bottom of the screen, I think. No, I'm here. We're here. But anyway, I don't know. Don't you think that it's kind of like, in a way, to disprove God? They're trying to expose the fundamental particle that created the universe, essentially. Whereas the theist will say, well, God created the universe. It's that simple. But eventually they're going to get down to it, and they're going to be like, oh, it was this. But, you know, where did that come from? And who wrote these laws to begin with? Who set in motion all of this stuff? Did nothing just do that? I don't think so. I just don't think it's possible. I think that we are of a very intricate and creative design. Buddy was playing around one day. Maybe he sneezed, and we came out, you know. But either way, that's kind of, in my opinion, what it's about. Don't look up particle physics. And we all got into that because, I don't know. Yeah, I would say definitely. Yeah, we're definitely in the end times. Ah, crap. I'd say we're definitely in the end times because of all these different things that seem to be going on around the world. I would say we're in the end times. Or close to them, but I mean, I'm sure the generation before me said that too. And the one before that even. It's possible the universe is self-regulating. So you're saying it's what? It thinks it's alive? The universe is actually alive? How else would it self-regulate? It would have to have some sort of function. Some thought. Don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that. Come here. Kid. I don't know. I think the universe would have to be alive in some sort of way. And if that is the case, then maybe the universe is God, and God is in us, we are in God, all at the same time. We're just inside God's stomach or something. Yeah, but who made it to do that? What made it to do that? Why does it do that? And when you tell me what made it to do that, and say it was the universe itself, who told it to do that? And why did it tell it to do that? I don't know. You can see patterns in chaos too. I mean, it's almost like organized chaos in a way. I mean, it could be self-regulating in a way, but you know, that would imply that it itself has some sort of sentience. So I don't think you are. Yeah, like, I don't think they've... I don't know. What do you define consciousness as? Exactly. Let's figure that out first. So, being self-aware makes you conscious, right? Did I drop all these chips? Or did your brother do that? What was going on over there? Consciousness is being aware of something internal to oneself, or being conscious of states or objects in one's external environment. Wow, that tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. I might just be used to the might just be used to it. There are two fundamental questions that's the source of all questions. Is that we experience inside, and what is the reality that we experience outside? What is that we experience inside? I don't know. You might want to reword that, or maybe I'm just not understanding that first bit. But you're saying it like a Jeopardy answer. Is that we experience inside, and what is that we experience inside? What do you mean? Like how we feel, how you interpret your surroundings, or just what you think? Is that what it is? Is that what you're saying? A little more, kid, and I'll give it to you. Board meeting for the water system. Yeah, like I don't think that has anything to do with the universe, for sure. What is the reality that we experience outside? And consciousness is the bridges both. I don't think that's necessarily true either. Like surely that well, we don't even know where this comes from to start off with. We don't even know how this exists. We have no concept of consciousness. We don't understand it. We don't know where it comes from. We don't know how it develops. Like, we don't understand why similar brained creatures to us aren't conscious the same way. Like, they're not self-aware, for instance. Like, self-awareness and consciousness are totally different in a lot of ways. Yeah, but see, the thing about that is that inside of yourself is still inside of the universe, and we don't know how that gets there. We have no explanation of where consciousness comes from. Like, there is no scientific explanation for it. You know, it doesn't exist in science. It's not there. The answer is not there in science. There's only one place that you can get that, and that's faith. You're conscious because God made you that way. Will you kids stop it? No, 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 no. Consciousness does not come from nature itself. Because are you your body or are you your mind? Where does your mind come from? Where does it come from? Like, it's not just created. You know, it already existed. It's just put there. I don't think that's right. Like that, the thing that makes you think, or however you want to describe it. Like, we still don't have, we still have no explanation for this. Here, I'll tell you. Where does consciousness come from? The exact origins and mechanisms of consciousness remain a mystery. Integrated information theory and global neuronal workspace theory attempt to explain how it emerges from brain function. But there is still no idea. They've got ideas, but they don't really know. There's no knowing. Consciousness emerges from the integration of information within a system. So you're part of a matrix, essentially, or stage where important information is spotlighted. But these are all theories. Nobody actually knows. How subjective experience is, yeah, anyway, they don't fucking know. Long story short, they don't know. I don't even think it would know. I think it would blow up. I think it would kill it. Oh. Here. Yeah, anyway. The fall. This part. This is where this comes from. So if you want to say it comes from nature, I think that this is that point in nature where it came from. Right here. He cursed the serpent. Right here. I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Blah, blah, blah. This is that part where he gave you consciousness. I honestly don't think there really is any knowing, to be honest. To be honest, I really don't think there is any knowing whatsoever. How could you know? How could you know? Like, at the end of the day, like, even all the science that they're doing, like, you might prove something, but you might prove that this thing works the way you think it does, but again, like, at the root of it all, they have no answer. They don't know what's going to happen when they get to the Planck link, the whatever. Science has no answer for a lot of stuff. Yeah. Right. So the fruit specifically. I don't know what Bible this is. This is a New International Version, so it appears, yeah, here it is. Adam and his wife are both naked, and they felt no shame. Right. So that was this part. You must not eat from the tree that is in the middle of the garden. You must not touch it, or you will die. The serpent says, you will not certainly die. When the woman saw the fruit of the tree was good, pleasing the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves, because they were ashamed. I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. And he immediately knew. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree? One freaking rule. I think that they're gonna get down to this. I think that's what the end of their answer is gonna be. Like, I think what they're looking for has already been written down, like, for thousands of years, and they're just not reading it. Honestly, like, this is probably it right here. Like, this is a pretty good explanation. There was a fruit on a tree. God was like, hey, stay away from that. And the lady was like, it looks pretty good. Why, right? Didn't make him smart. The answer right here in the Bible. The answer was written down a long time ago. Where does consciousness come from? Right here. Whatever the fruit in the Garden of Eden, the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, whatever you want to call it. See? It says, you will not certainly die, the serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So, I mean, that pretty much says it right there. You will be like God. But anyway, that was a lie. Naturally, it was a lie. They might know good and evil, but, you know, they were already like God. Yeah, that's the answer in my opinion. I don't know. But I'm a religious person, like I've said, so, you know, I could just be believing in fancy space miracles, but, I mean, the shit's been written down for a long time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not guilty for putting a bounty on somebody?
Was a murder-for-hire plot to kill Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino during the height of Operation Midway Blitz. Now, the prosecution had based their case on a Snapchat message that Espinosa had sent both to his brother and to a man he did not realize was a government informant. That message contained what was interpreted as a bounty on
So the guy gets caught in a murder for hire plot? Yeah, so you're saying that particle physics follows certain laws, and that's true. I'm asking you, who wrote those laws? Who made it so those laws exist? Who defined those laws? Like, what made them a constant? You're saying that the material world has enough sentience to define a universal law. Like, you're saying that something that's not sentient has the ability to define a universal law. And I'm saying that the person that wrote these laws must be God. The reason the universe works the way it does, the reason particle physics is observable, you know, or whatever, you know, the reason we can see these things in general is because God made it so. He spoke, it happened, ta-da, that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like, the guy made the firmament also, apparently, you know, he put us out in the middle of space. Didn't say anything about dinosaurs, but did say there were creatures and beasts and stuff like that. Killed the world once, so maybe he kind of left those out that time. Flooded the world. I don't know. Listen, some of it could be myth, but there's got to be truth to it. Quantum physics doesn't work like that. I mean, again, who made it so quantum physics works the way that it does? You know, who did quantum physics do it for itself? That's what I'm asking you. Did quantum physics write the laws of quantum physics, or did somebody write the laws of quantum physics? That's it. That's pretty much the question. Who made it so? What made it so? What makes it so? So you're saying there's some universal field that we exist upon, and all conversation laws? You mean all conventional laws come from this field? The Higgs field. That's what you're saying. I assume you're referring to the Higgs field. Right? This is why we think things exist, basically. Is this what you're referring to? What field do you mean? QFT. Quantum field theory. So, theory. That's the important part here. Theory is still yet to be proven. But let's look it up. In theoretical physics, QFT is a theoretical framework that combines field theory, special relativity, and quantum mechanics. QFT is used in particle physics to construct physical models of subatomic particles and condensed matter physics to construct models of quasi-particles. The current standard model of particle physics is based on QFT. What does that have to do with anything? Who writes these laws? Why do these laws exist? They didn't just make themselves, surely, is what I'm asking you. Did these things just make themselves? I mean, I don't even think this is correct, to be honest. Every law comes from this quantum field theory. Well, that can't be true. That can't be true because it's a theory. It's not proven. So you can't say that everything is just because this. That's not true. It's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. That's all. It will be proved with what they're doing with the Large Hadron Collider. I think that they will I think that they will prove that these particles exist, but I do not think that they will prove anything about what I'm asking you. So I'm saying, why do these particles exist in the first place? Who made the laws that these particles follow in the first place? Or what made these laws? Was it these laws themselves wrote them? No. The laws didn't write themselves. And the laws that these particles follow in physics, like, what wrote those? What makes those work? Is it God? Did they self-regulate themselves into working that way? No, I don't think that they did. I think it's God. I think that the simplest solution is that all of this stuff works the way that it does because God said so. In my opinion. That's my opinion on the matter. So where does the field come from? Well, where does the quantum field come from? Quantum field. Maybe I should just quantum. And again, you can't say that all laws come from this field because it's still just a theory. Until they make it like a fundamental law, this is still just a theory. It's a theoretical framework combining other theories. It exists externally. Quantum fields are fundamental entities in physics that exist throughout all of space. Regardless of the presence of particles, they arise from the combination of field theory, quantum mechanics, and special relativity, serving as the underlying framework for understanding subatomic particles and their interactions. Alright. So they're fundamental entities in physics. Where do they come from? Why do they exist? I think the nitty-gritty of that is going to lead scientists to the thing they've been running away from this whole time. That's what I'm saying. Quantum physics won't be... Probably not. Probably not. They change the theoretical framework of everything every 10 years. Well, why does it do this? Well, they don't really fucking know. They actually have no idea. But I think what he's trying to say is that consciousness comes from this. But I don't think so either. I don't think consciousness comes to you because God said so. I think that the answers are a lot simpler than people want to admit. Like, but that's kind of our nature to just go against God. Like, the hard thing is to follow God. Believe it or not. Like, everybody says, you know, winter storm warnings. Extreme cold warnings up north. Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty bad.
Well, we're getting ready for a beautiful weekend here across Florida, but everyone's talking about this.
Yeah, dozens of states are now going to be experiencing at least some form of a
You're saying quantum fields just make themselves exist?
given the fact that it is the weekend, but
That's what you're telling me?
people are going to be impacted by this for a number of reasons.
And with talk of what could be
I've already gotten to the source. I got to the source a long time ago. I don't even question the way physics works because I know that it works that way because God made it. God said, you know what? This is really smart, and I think the best way to do it would be this way. What did you do? Let me go deal with this.
You did something you weren't supposed to. Would be applied in many different situations. In this case, we're talking about widespread winter extending over 2,000 miles from Texas all the way to New England, affecting areas that often don't see this kind of weather. So they need more resources than normal.
Yeah, and essentially when we hear a state of emergency, we've even heard that be declared ahead of a hurricane here in Florida. It helps free up money and resources for states to kind of plan ahead so that way we're not waiting until the last minute or, you know, until after the fact when we really need people to have help.
Let me see what
it's not an admission that we're in an emergency situation and that you need to, like, take cover. Because it can sound like that, like, oh, state of emergency. I feel like that's like Hollywood movies with that title, and it's always an action movie with some kind of a crazy situation. But in this case, it's literally to free up funding and just put everybody in that, like, storm mode to get all the resources moving so that when the snow and ice starts falling, action can happen faster.
Yeah. And it oftentimes can mean the National Guard can be deployed at that point. It can mean that they have additional funding to allow for crews from out of state, whether it be electric companies, whatever it might be. It allows them to be able to come into the state and give help. And it allows all of these it removes a lot of the barriers more quickly and more efficiently.
And we're in a period on social media of clickbait. And there's a lot of people that are just posting things like, state of emergency in Texas. No context. It's warm, it's red or whatever.
Okay, so you are saying basically what I've been saying this whole time is that this field was created by God. Or that this eternal field is God. That's what you're saying, right? That's kind of what I'm getting out of this now. But I don't think that's true either. I don't think that's true. I think that is also created. No, I don't think so. I don't think that we, even as humans, can understand God. Like, I don't think our brains even allow us to understand how a God works. You know? For instance, my God is within and without. Like, we don't worship the created, we worship the creator. Who created this field? Like, if there is some eternal field that you're speaking of, then I would say essentially you are talking about God. You're not talking about some eternal field. You're talking about God. And I don't think there's going to be any proof of what you're saying either. And if they say, oh, hey, we found this eternal field, and this is what unifies all physics, all quantum physics and theory, and this is the proof of it, this field's existence, I think I think that is also created by God. I don't think that, again, like, God is really outside of human's understanding. I think this is what a lot of scientists don't get. Like, there is no understanding it. That's why it's called faith. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God is in you. God, yeah. That's what meditation's about, right? I know how you can see God. You'll see him again, too. But essentially, you're saying that consciousness is gifted to you through this field, and because you are one with God, or you are part of God, or God is a part of you, or something like that, that's how you experience things. I mean, that would be true for anything, you know, like, it wouldn't just be true for this field, or how you experience God, meditation, whatnot, like, you know, you can attune yourself to this field and experience God. I don't think so. I think that God is neither within nor without. Like he says, he's the beginning and the end. Yeah, and Hinduism is considered a false religion. No offense to you. Or anything, you know, no offense to your religion. But in Hinduism, like, I'm pretty sure that that's not real. Not entirely. I'm sure there's some truth to it, but not entirely. Science would meet religion? I don't know if you want to do that. When you say meet religion, you mean God. That's when science meets God, and I don't think you want to do that. I think you just want to live side by side with them, but I don't think you want to meet them like that. I don't think that's the way to meet them. That seems like a very that's haram. 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 Vedas date back even before Christianity? Is that what you call gods? What is a Vedas? Veda. Sounds like a Star Wars character. Oldest scriptures of Hinduism. There are 4 Vedas: the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, and Yajurveda. The Samhitas, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, and the Upanishads has 4 subdivisions. A 5th category, the Upasanas. You want more milk? Hold on, let me get more milk from a boy. My brother has done an extensive amount of research. Now let me tell you, like, I'm an okay, like, historian and whatnot on this type of topic, but my brother has an extensive knowledge of this type of stuff. He would tell you a lot about Hinduism, Buddhism. Yeah, I think if anything, and like these things might predate Christianity in terms of like when they were written, right? But they don't predate the times in Christianity that are mentioned. Yeah. Here, let me look here. When hold on. Who am I thinking of? Hold on. What are y'all doing? I'm gonna kill you. Y'all messing stuff up. You're all making me mad. I'm gonna beat on all of you. I don't know if I fixed it yet or not. Did I fix it? Yeah, we fixed it. We're good. We're good. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't know it was even off. Thank you guys. My son must have done something he wasn't supposed to do, like normal. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, I'm not the most foremost expert on Hinduism in general, but my brother is very, very knowledgeable on the topic. And he has equated that the things that they're mentioning in the Bhagavad Gita and a lot of other Hindu texts he's basically equating those to the angels of the Abrahamic religion, and that Hindus basically just worship angels, and that's kind of what it says here, is that there's these deities that Hindu people have claimed to see, but they are actually just angels of God who were doing strange things, and they have been known to do strange things. So it's no surprise there. The Bhagavad Gita. Let's talk about this flying vehicle, shall we? Like flaming chariot and whatnot. You know, like a lot of that stuff. Like you say that it predates like Christianity, and while some of these texts do predate Christianity, some of them don't. Like a lot of things in Christianity were continued through Hebrew oral tradition, though, as well. But they've mentioned similar things to this in the Torah and the Talmud. So, angels do strange things, but that doesn't mean you should worship them, even though they do divine things. Vedas is your book for it. But anyway, they are considered angels. The gods you worship are considered angels, basically. Shruti and Smriti. Let's look this up. Less authoritative. So basically what you're saying, yeah, so basically no, they're not people. It's like the types of texts. They're basically what he's describing is like the Jewish Torah and Talmud and stuff like that. You know, things that were heard from God and things that they were remembering from God. You know, like where a prophet, you know, directly gets that, you know, like the person who writes this, I don't even know how to say that word, is remembering how they got there, I guess, in a way. It's about the reality you're talking about. Is Jesus divine in Hinduism? That's what it says on radical.net and reformmagazine.uk, basically. So, again, like, even Is that what you're saying about Shruti? Or is that what that means? What does that mean? Or do you mean this word? Just texting my boss, not my boss, my landlord about work. He wants me to come help him do some work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Jesus is just the way. Like I'm pretty sure that even they knew about Jesus. Like the guy literally says he is the truth. I mean, you can trust that. It's the truth. Man. Human memory, divine memory. That's what it says on Ananda. I don't know, man. It's hard to get into. It's hard to get into. A lot of this stuff is because there's really just no way of knowing, to be honest. Like, that's why it's called faith. Yeah. That's the crazy thing about faith, brother. That is the crazy thing about faith. Is that you kind of have to have it. Because there's really no way of knowing. There's really no way of knowing. There's really no way of knowing. And that's one of the five solae also, you know, it's faith, scripture, baptism, good works, and by grace. You didn't know, because that's still theory. Again, you can say all you want, but quantum fields are, they say fundamental entity, but quantum field theory is just that, it's a theory. So again, science doesn't really meet religion in that concept, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not really defined that way. Science can't teach you value, and what we as humanity strive to value the most is God. We value God the most, or we should. A lot of people have gone away from that, but in actuality, you cannot derive value from science. And value, the highest value, is God. So you cannot derive God from science. It's just not possible. It's not a possibility. And that's the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is God is neither within science or without science. He simply is. Like, and that's how I would expect a God to work. Again, we can't even begin to understand how it works because God is just too complex for our feeble brains to make sense of. That goes back to the old homage of like, yeah, I taught you all of what you know, not all of what I know. And that is a perfect example of God right there. I'll read about it. Para Brahma. Oh, Para Brahman. Ah, so this is basically your word for the Abraham God, the God of Abraham. I am. This is the Hindu term for I am, basically. That is essentially what you were saying. At least that's what I'm making out of it all. Is that yeah, that's what I'm getting out of it all. Definitely. 53 views. Now, if you notice, there's been no trolls. No trolls or anything. You know why? Because it's a subscribers only live. So thank you guys for tuning in and talking about this with me. But yeah, I would say that this is essentially your word for God. This is the Hindu term for the Abraham's God, which they just call, you know, God. Or Yeshua. Or, no, it's Yahweh, excuse me. Yeah. What they would say is God. I am who I am. Which is no, that was a subscriber troll. He said Vegeta is a Vega. Yeah, but anyway. Yahweh. Yeah. This these letters appear very frequently in the Old Testament. I think it's like every 7th letter in order is one of these letters. Every 7th letter is one of these letters in order. So like it just spells out God like a bunch. But anyway, no, it does not predate. The text may predate Christianity, but it's about the same. It's about the same. Didn't have to enlighten me on the true God. I already knew about the true God, baby. The God of Abraham's the true God. We're just talking about the same person. from a different perspective. That's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact, Jack. Yeah, see? Right here. Whoops. Well, this isn't in Hebrew, so this probably wouldn't work very well. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure that we would get there in this. Every seventh letter should be spelling Yahweh. So right. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. So your God, my God, it's all the same God, the God of Abraham. We just don't worship like deities, like we don't worship deities. You know, there's the one true God, and he was very clear that we should not place any other gods before him. Which he was careful to say that we should not place gods before him. Not that there were no other gods, or what we might consider gods, but he said that we should not place any of them before him, that he is the one true God. So there are a lot of false gods. You got to watch out for that. So this is what we're looking for. Every seventh letter. I don't know if that's a letter. But that certainly looks right. Yeah, that certainly looks right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the seventh one right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. That definitely lines up. Definitely lines up. Very strange little Bible things, but yeah. I would say definitively. The moment I disconnect it, make it mythical, not natural, you are an illusion. Well, I didn't say that it wasn't natural. I think that God is just the true nature. Like, the true nature of the universe is God. Like, everything works the way it works because God made it that way. So, it's not disconnecting and making it mythical. I'm just saying that science is not gonna teach you that. That's essentially what I'm telling you. And there are definitely false gods. That's why he said, thou shalt not place other gods before me. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's what he means. So, he's very clear on that. And when you say that you worship divine beings, which would be angels in the Abrahamic religion. Whoops. You would be referring to these guys. Right? And yeah, anyway, they say you're not supposed to worship these, even though they're divine beings. Yeah, but that's not the case. Yeah, that's just not the case. That's called idolatry. You worship the creator, not the created. Yeah, we don't idolize plants or anything. We don't pray to idols. We don't pray to plants. We don't pray to animals. We might give sacrifice of these things, but we don't pray to them. We pray to God. We're praying to God, not to. We don't. Idolatry is bad. Haram. 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 Stone him. I'm just kidding. Don't stone him. But haram. I don't know what the Christian word for haram is. Haram. Yeah. What do the Catholics call the unthinkable stuff? Apostate. Apostate. You've turned your back on God. I think you don't want to believe the truth, bud. Like, I'm just telling you that we don't worship idols. Like, we don't idolize things. We worship God, who is neither within nor without, right? So that's the same word that you had, the Brahman word, whatever it was called. But we don't worship the creations of God. We worship God, the Creator. That's not refusing the truth. And neither is saying that you can't just find God through science. Science can't teach you God. Only faith, scripture, baptism, good works, and by God's grace do you actually find Him. The first four solae are just pathways to grace, but not necessarily guarantees, if that makes sense. But anyway, yes, God is perfect. We do not worship anything but God. And as Christians, we believe that God sent a son, his mortal representation of perfection, to save humanity from their sin, right? Similar to like how Allah in Islam collected like all the sin of the world into that rock they keep in Mecca, which I forget the name of, but you know, it was a perfect white rock, but now it's filled with the sin of the world and is black. Yeah, just pray to God, brother. Yeah, like when you're praying, you can pray to Jesus, you can pray to God. They're interchangeable, but I'm not separating God as being in some outside realm. God is within and without. He said that. The Alpha and the Omega. This is a good way. This is the better way to describe it. The beginning and the end of all things. But not individually. It's not separate. The first and the last. The beginning and the end, right? That's what it says. I've already seen the truth, brother. So, you know, say what you will, but either way, we're still talking about the same guy. But I wouldn't go about deifying anything other than Christ. Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. What you're telling me is that you're worshiping the Abrahamic God who specifically said, "Thou shalt not have gods before him," and not to pray to false idols. And he made his chosen people, the ones he loves the most, wander a desert for 40 years because they did that very same thing. So I would try not doing that. I would try not doing that. Oh, it's dead. No more. But anyway, I think that's a good place to cut it off for now, because I got kids to deal with and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today and keeping it real and having good discussions about this. At the end of this whole this discussion, I would say definitively that we were always talking about the same God. Who told me not to worship false idols? Who told you that too, but you just didn't you didn't catch that part, I guess. Is neither here nor there, if that makes sense, but he is here and there at the same time. Within and without. Peace out, y'all. Y'all have a blessed night. Hopefully this guy gets it. Gets what I'm saying. I think there might be some miscommunications, but do not worship false idols. It says that very clearly. But yeah, we'll check you guys later. Peace out. It was fun. Good discussions. Probably do this Saturday. Yeah, see. That's not the point. You know, like even if it exists in an idol, that doesn't mean you worship the idol. You're not praying. We don't pray to idols, you know. That's like false prophet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, even if God is within, which he is, we're not praying to the idol. We're praying to God. And that's what we would call like a sacrifice, I would say. You give sacrifice to God by offerings of crops, you know, the tithe, the 10% that you give back to God. Yeah, that's about as far as it goes with that. But we do not worship those. That is the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you the whole time. We worship the creator, not the created. That's what I've been saying this whole time. So, again, like you're agreeing with me, but you're saying things that are trying to contradict what I'm saying. But what I've been saying this whole time, you're agreeing with. Yeah, you can see God in everything, right? You can see God as everything works. Like, I get that. But we're not praying to the works. We're praying to God for creating the works. Like, hey, that's awesome. Thank you. Just give him a thumbs up or a pat on the back, or put your hands together like this and get on your knees and pray him. Pray to him. That's all I'm saying, is that we don't worship false idols around here, you know what I mean? And we don't pray to idols, we pray to God. Like, we don't, like I've been saying. God isn't everything, God isn't everyone. We are made in the image of God. So, I do see that. I don't know what you're trying to get at. But again, we're going to cut it here at 2.5 hours. It was fun. Peace out. Y'all have a blessed night. Stay safe. End it.